my apologies, or our apologies, for the delay in getting PECS started, but I thank you so much for being here today. We tried to and did exhaust our regular BOC meeting agenda. My name is Nicole Messiah, and I have the distinct honor and pleasure of serving as your District 3 County Commissioner, but also the chair of PECS, Planning, Economic Development, and Community Services. I serve alongside my other colleagues. That's Commissioner Ted Terry from District 6 and Commissioner Michelle Longspears from District 2. We are going to be joined by our committee members, and we'll see if other colleagues will join along with. If you've had a chance to review the minutes, please, I will entertain a motion at your convenience, committee members.
Motion to approve. 1828.
Second.
We have a proper first and second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you so much, and that is approved. Right? And so we're going to jump right on in with Mr. Hines, and if you wouldn't mind approaching the podium, please.
Hey, good afternoon.
Great afternoon. So this is agenda item ending in 0191, all commission districts, and that is to appoint Mr. Hunter Hines to the Chamblee-Doraville Community Improvement District Board. Thank you so much for being with us here today. Just a couple of brief questions. This is a CEO 13A appointment. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So just wanted to make sure this is clear for the purposes of the public. CEO 13A appointment. And just very briefly, Mr. Hines, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and including your prior professional experience that has prepared you to engage with the community stakeholders and local business leaders in and around the Chamblee-Doraville CID board?
Sure. I have over 15 years of experience in airport management, working in different capacities with different counties, cities, authorities, and so through that, I've worked on many different projects dealing with lots of different municipalities and governments to. Working through different projects, working with different businesses and real estate owners and owners of different businesses across Georgia and Alabama, and so that's kind of my background. I've dealt with a lot of different matters from planning and development and project coordinating and construction. Management, and so that's my background.
Thank you so much for sharing. And as an appointee, if appointed to the Chamblee-Doraville CID board, what would you identify as your top priorities for promoting responsible growth, fiscal accountability, and long-term sustainability within the CID area? Mostly just working with the local businesses, and I mean through the CID, representing different commercial real estate and business owners. I think that they represent over 100 different business owners in the area, and would like to work to help foster sensible growth and the development throughout the region. Thank you so much, and I know we're in a bit of a time crunch here. Again, thank you for being able to be flexible for being here with us today. With that, I want to open it up to my committee members. Commissioner Longspears.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and I'm delighted that you're being considered for this appointment. I will ask question number 5, if that's acceptable to the chair. Okay. What do you see as the most significant opportunities and challenges facing the Chamblee-Doraville CID? How would you collaborate with other board members and partner agencies to address these issues effectively?
Well, I will be learning kind of on the fly. So, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to dive in and learn what the different opportunities that there are with the CID board, working with fellow board members, and kind of giving my experience through, working with the airport, working with the county. The airport is a large economic driver, so I think that is one of the desirable aspects of the consideration of the other board members for my position on the board, as well as the county involvement.
Thank you. And I do have just a follow-up question that's actually not on our list. So the footprint for the Chamblee, bless you, the Chamblee-Dorville CID, that includes PDK, does it?
It is in that
Okay.
that footprint, yes.
All right. How about Assembly?
That I do not know.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I'll just do my own homework. Yield back.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Long-Spears. Commissioner Terry?
Did you do 4? All right. Director Hines, next pre-approved question. How do you plan to leverage your expertise to support the CID strategic initiatives such as improving transportation and mobility, enhancing public spaces, and fostering private investment that benefits DeKalb County as a whole?
Once again, just going back to working through the airport, different projects. We've worked through a lot of different similar projects, and I've got a lot of different experience working with some of the local jurisdictions that surround or that is inside the Chamblee-Dorville footprint, and so I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of different people on different projects, and I believe that I'll be able to use that experience to further give that experience to the board and help in whatever ways I can.
And thank you so much, Mr. Hines. Do you have a follow-up question, Commissioner Terry, Commissioner Long-Spears? All right. With that, thank you so much, Mr. Hines, once again, for being here with us today, and traveling mercies.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next appointment is Agenda Item 0246, all commission districts, to appoint Ms. Tricia Weaver to Post 3 of the Development Authority of DeKalb County, Post 3 of the Residential Care Facilities for the Elderly Authority, and Post 3 of the Private Hospital Authority. Thank you so much, Ms. Weaver, and welcome here again to PECS. Yes, and do we have questions? Shannon, thank you so much. Appreciate it, and those are being distributed to us now. Thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for coming and being here with us, Ms. Weaver. Can you please tell the committee a little about yourself and briefly describe how your previous experiences qualifies you for these boards?
Certainly. First of all, thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. I consider it an honor to be here and do not take this opportunity lightly. I am Trisilla Weaver. I am currently serving as the Chief of Access and Opportunity with the DeKalb County School District. But more importantly, I've been a resident of DeKalb County for over 50 years. I am a graduate of the DeKalb County School District. I started college in DeKalb when what was then known as DeKalb Community College. And then after completing college, I came back to work in our county as an educator. I have served as a teacher, an assistant principal, a principal, a regional superintendent, and I currently serve as a chief. And one of my main goals is to make sure that we put systematic processes in place to eliminate any barriers to our student success or having access success based on their zip code or where they show up into the space. And so I have spent over 35 years working to make sure that our scholars who graduate from the DeKalb County School District have an opportunity to either enlist in the military, enroll in college, college, become entrepreneurs, or to go into employment. But more importantly than that, I also work in my community. I've been working in our community for as long as I can remember, working alongside our faith-based organization, our civic organization, our community, or our elected officials such as yourself, but making sure that DeKalb is a great place to live, to work, and to worship.
Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And you've also answered one of the questions in terms of a goal or a priority that you would see yourself being able to promote while on the board. I'll just briefly ask you then, what role do you think stakeholders and the public should play in shaping large development projects? And what tools, if you're confirmed, if you will, would you think that the board members should use to solicit community feedback and ensure that it influences authority priorities?
So I think when you're working in communities, you cannot work apart from the community. It must be a collaboration. And so you must go out and hear from the people in the community for what their needs are, and then you work to provide those needs. And so I'm a big proponent of giving voice, but not just necessarily the voice that you will see that will come to the mic at different meetings, but how do you go out into your communities to listen to those people who I consider to be whisperers. They may be our grandparents in our community who may have some technology issues and cannot log in to hear some of the things. They may have transportation issues. They may have language issues, or those type of things. So I see myself as going out in the community, making sure all of those voices are heard and are considered when we're considering making commitments in those communities. So you can't live apart from the community. You also want to use your different vehicles, such as your faith-based organization, your civic groups. They have meetings. They are out in the community and making sure that we lift up that voice for them to hear. So not just the loudest voices, but every voice is given an opportunity to weigh in on what's happening in their community. That gives them a sense of ownership. It gives them a sense of pride in what is happening in DeKalb.
Thank you so much again for your response and your willingness to serve on this board and your service as an educator. Thank you again. Commissioner Terry, any questions you have? Sure.
All right. Great. Thank you, Dr. Weaver, for your service to DeKalb County Schools. Very glad that we will continue to have a member of the school system on Decide DeKalb, because y'all are very important to the future development and job opportunities for our young people. So this is just a standard question. Do you have any financial or personal interest that will prevent your attendance or discussion on any matters coming before the Development Authority?
No, not that I'm aware of any. No,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Terry. Commissioner Longspears?
Thank you so much, and a pleasure to meet you. We appreciate you being here with us today. My question is, how would you utilize your position on these three boards to work in tandem to address socioeconomic and health disparities across the county?
So first, I think I see myself as a strategic thought partner. Coming from the educational arena, there are some things that we could bring through thought partnering with other members of the board that may not have been thought about. So for example, career opportunities and career paths that we have in our district that may lead to the economic development in our county. So the first thing I could see myself as a thought partner. I also see myself as an advocate for voice. I think we talked a little bit about it before, but also making sure that I'm advocating for everyone in our community to have a voice and that they're heard and that they're seen. I see myself as weighing in on possible policies that may come about that our board may have to consider and providing perspectives as it relates to that. And then just bringing my lived experience in DeKalb for over 50 years. I've been here when, South DeKalb was the hub of our district and North DeKalb Mall and now North Lake Mall, all of those things. So I bring that historical perspective. And so I would think that my history in this district will lend itself well to serving on the board.
Thank you so much for a detailed response.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Longspears. And I don't want to keep you any longer than necessary. do appreciate you, Dr. Weaver, for being here with us today. Thank you for your patience, and we were a little tardy in get it started. And again, thank you for your willingness to serve.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you. And with that, we will we can get into some of our other agenda items. Just want to circle back very briefly to agenda item ending in 0191, and that is the appointment of Mr. Hines to the Chambly-Doraville Community Improvement District Board. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve 0191.
Have a proper first and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. And we have with us today Dr. Ferguson, I was going to say, Director Ferguson, still the same, just our Chief Housing Officer. Thank you so much, who is going to give us a status update on our comprehensive housing plan. And we also have, I believe, is planning sustainability along with, yes. All right. Enterprise is joining us as well. Thank you so much for being here. And with that, take it away.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, commissioners, for your time this afternoon. So you asked me to recall, during 2025, the Board of Commissioners approved a comprehensive strategic housing plan, for DeKalb County. And, after a procurement exercise, the consulting team of Enterprise Community Partners as well as Sycamore Consulting were selected to begin that endeavor. So that effort kicked off in November 2025, and we're here today to give you an update on the current status and how that work has progressed to date. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up the team from Enterprise to address themselves. Also, I should mention that quarterbacking this effort is our team from Planning and Sustainability, and they're here as well.
Thank you so much. I did see Ava in the back. Thank you so much, and welcome all.
Madam Chair, would you like us to ask our questions as they come up or at the end of the presentation?
We'll let them get started and then determine a good place to sort of get in there. Thank you so much.
All right, sounds great. I'm going to move us forward here. Well, Madam Chair, Commissioners, thank you so much for this opportunity to share with you about the work that our team is doing to support DeKalb County with its first ever comprehensive housing plan. We are so honored to have this opportunity to support you all in this work. So I'll jump a little bit into our team since this is our first time meeting today for most of us. My name is Vithia Palmer, and I am so fortunate to be the Director of Housing Solutions with Enterprise Advisors. We are a mission-driven consulting team that works with communities like DeKalb County across the country who are really committed to realizing their housing visions. We've worked on housing plans, including with folks like Prince George's County, Maryland, Toledo, Ohio, Asheville, Northwest Arkansas, all scales, but all communities like yours who are really committed to serving your residents well. We're also really grateful to have the Enterprise Southeast office as a part of our project team as well. Some of you may know Beth Stevens or Dr. Christy Cade, who lead our work in the Atlanta area, and so we are really grateful to have their local perspective to supplement the national work and experience that we have with housing plans. Additionally, we could not be more excited to have Sycamore Consulting on our bench as part of this effort. You might know them from a number of different efforts going on in DeKalb County right now or in recent years. I'll be turning it over to my colleague Madison in a little bit to share more about the engagement work that they've hit the ground running with. I'm going to give a quick overview of the comprehensive housing plan, though I know you all are deeply intimate with this, so I'll keep this very short. But for those who don't know, DeKalb County's 2050 Unified Plan does not have a housing component to it, and so this is going to be rolled in to the comprehensive to the Unified Plan. So this isn't a standalone document. This is ultimately something that will get rolled into the county's guiding vision. This is a way to coordinate efforts, leverage investments and policies that you all will be making as commissioners, and also really driving toward equitable housing outcomes across the housing spectrum. So what is a comprehensive housing plan? It is an actionable living document that is meant to be a map for not only the Board of Commissioners, but also stakeholders in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors. It's meant to be a way to bring stakeholders together to unify around a goal and strategies, a clear shared vision. In our approach, we also see this planning process as a way to build the capacity of the ecosystem itself. This isn't just another planning exercise or another study. This is a way to unite stakeholders and increase their capacity to do work in a more strategic, intentional way. I'm not going to belabor any of these points. I know you all know the housing market well. I know there's been recent studies that we're going to be updating some of those numbers around, but we know this moment calls for this plan, and we appreciate your leadership in moving this plan forward. I'm going to stop here for a moment, since this is new to you probably. As our team, we have a two-phase approach. The first is discovery, understanding what's going on, how residents are thinking, what the numbers are showing. We know that housing markets are dynamic, ever shifting, ever evolving. And so we started by understanding what programs already exist, what resources are there. We've been working really closely with county departments, DCTV, the housing authorities, to understand what they're already doing, what tools are ready around the table, so that we can figure out where there are gaps. We're also deep in the data analysis right now. The Census Bureau just dropped its new American Community Survey data. We're also working with data straight from your departments, Atlanta Regional Commission, the state of Georgia, to really help build out a big picture. But the story isn't complete without resident voice. So I'm going to be turning it over to Madison in a second here to really dig into our stakeholder and resident engagement approach, because it's so important that we ground truth what we're finding in the numbers with the lived experience of residents across the county.
Thank you so much. And if we would just take a quick pause, Vivian, right there before you bring him on, to see if there's any questions by committee members. All right.
All right. So Madison will be talking about that, but then as we move into the second phase of things, we'll jump into planning. So that's where we'll get into real goal setting, really figuring out what tactical strategies that the county can deploy, and creating a 5-year action plan. So this isn't a set of recommendations. These are going to be actions that stakeholders are committed to advancing together. So with that, I'll turn it to Madison.
Hello, committee members. My name is Madison Davis. I'm from Sycamore Consulting, and I'll be talking through some of the public engagement we're doing.
I'm sorry, you said Addison?
Madison.
Madison, all right, just
Davis.
wanted to be certain.
Apologies.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Longspears did have a quick question. Is it for Vivian or Madison?
It's the two-phase approach slide 8.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. I'm just wanting to be clear, and forgive me if you stated it as I was going through and highlighting some of the points that are in the presentation. So task 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, and so on, looks like you have them separated out between discovery and planning. Do these align with a month or?
Yes, so the numbers
Am I
across
just-
the top are actually the months.
Okay, so November,
11 is
okay, just
November.
making sure.
Yes, and then the tasks are the rows.
Okay, so 11 was November, obviously, of last year, since we're in the midst of the process. And then the community participation is, thankfully, almost the entire time. That makes me happy. So we can, the map of existing resources. So if that's under number 1, that would be January. Have you sent that to us yet?
We haven't submitted an actual, polished public-facing deliverable around that, but we have completed the research that helps us understand for our internal team that will be helping us shape the rest of the analyses that we're doing.
So can we expect to receive that this month?
That is
Number
something
2?
that we can share with you, yes.
Okay.
And if I could just really briefly, I think that's either Ava or Dr. Ferguson.
Oh, that's their thing?
In
Okay.
terms of being able to get that information. Thank you.
That's the only one that actually stood out to me because I just didn't recall. I just did a quick search and didn't see it. Everything else looks like we're on track. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Longspears. Commissioner Terry, do you have any question? Okay. All right, Madison, go right ahead.
Thank you very much. So I just want to give a brief overview of what our community engagement strategy is. We ground our philosophy in having a transparent process that's easy for residents and stakeholders to engage with. We also pride ourselves on being inclusive in our process, both in terms of having in-person and digital engagement means, but also creating strategies that target some of our underrepresented communities within the county. We want to make sure that our engagement efforts are both tailored to getting broad perspectives and a high-level overview of the housing ecosystem, but also having opportunities to dive in a little deeper and be more focused in what we're asking from people. As a part of that, we want to make sure that our process is flexible throughout the planning period, and so that the process itself can reflect the priorities of the community members. It's going to give an overview of what we've been doing so far. So in November and December of last year, we were working on our public involvement plan that we submitted to the county. And then last month, we started our stakeholder engagement. So we convened our housing working group for the first time. That's a part of this process that we're meeting with them 3 additional times. And we also met with the Housing Roundtable in order to speak with stakeholders, both working directly within the county, but also those who are situated in the county, but maybe not actually a part of the government itself. This month, in addition to coming before the board here, we're launching our project website and starting coordination for our first public meeting series. That will be next month. We're planning to have 5 meetings during that series, 1 in each of the commission districts, in order to geographically distribute where we'll be meeting residents. And then we'll be going into a synthesis phase. For part 2 of for phase 2 of this planning process, we'll be coming back to the community in order to hold focus groups. We haven't determined exactly who we're going to speak to in those focus groups because we want to have some time to engage the community in our public meeting settings to see who we haven't been able to reach in order to make sure those are targeted and make sure we get to all the segments of the community. Then we'll be meeting with the Housing Working Group, as I said, a few more times, and then going back before the community at the end of summer in order to present our findings. At the end of October or sometime in October, we'll be coming back before the Board of Commissioners in order to review our findings and ask for final adoption. And I'm going to pass it back to my colleague. Thank you.
Great. I won't touch on these too long, but really just wanted to share with you a little flavor of the type of research that we're doing in this phase. So this is a set of priorities that we pulled with members of the Interagency Housing Council. We had 17 folks representing different agencies, authorities, and departments in our first meeting with them. And it was really interesting to see the priorities that emerged from them. Removing barriers to development, increasing homeownership opportunities, preventing reducing homelessness, building rental housing for low and moderate income residents. I don't think any of those are probably surprising to you. I think it did surprise me a little bit that the barriers to development was the #1 thing that came up with that group of 17 departments and agencies represented. So those are the types of conversations that we're having with our public sector folks, and then expanding to our broader stakeholder network. So we had our first meeting, as Madison said, with the DeKalb Housing Roundtable. Here's some themes of our first conversation with them. I want to touch on just a few of them. Things they want to see different are increased collaboration. Like I said, that's part of what this process in itself is really strengthening the network through groups like the Interagency Housing Council and the Working Group, and then also highlighting the need for sustainable and sufficient local funding. So efforts like the bond, the Housing Trust Fund, new efforts to create dollars and be able to leverage the resources that are coming from other places is something that is very top of mind for stakeholders as well. This is also just one map of many I could have shared today, but looking at the age of housing as well as the types of housing, costs of housing, location of housing, really getting a sense of what that means for policy recommendations too.
And if I could pause just really quickly,
Yes.
Commissioner Long-Spears.
Thank you so much. Y'all have made some awesome progress. We truly appreciate that. Just a couple of questions before you continue with the presentation. So I understand that you've reached out already for us to each host each, I guess, district-based commissioner. So the 5 of us,
Yes,
hopefully
ma'am.
in partnership with our super district commissioners, and Commissioner Terry's about 98% of my district, D6. And so the plan is, I guess, for us to host an event, a group, what are we calling it?
The community forum.
A community forum, thank you, a community forum in our district. Is that in person or Zoom?
Yes.
In person, right?
So these will be in-person meetings. We're
Okay.
working right now to finalize the venues. So we won't be able to communicate that in this setting, but we do have the dates confirmed, and we've started creating postcards, save the dates, in order to share some of that information with the community.
So I asked this same question of Ms. Rachel Bragg regarding the zoning rewrite process. I'm just putting myself into a resident's shoes. What would make me show up to this meeting? So how are y'all promoting this? Are any fancy, exciting tagline? You know, how are you going to get people actually to get in the room and share their perspectives? And not, no echo chambers, not talking to the choir, but people who live in our community that have kids and go to work during the daytime and, you know, busy with sports on the weekend or, you know, going to their book club or whatever it might be. How are you going to appeal to folks in our community to actually show up, attend, and provide input at these meetings? What is your marketing strategy or promotional strategy?
I appreciate that question. So as we finalize the details around this particular meeting series, we're going to tap into our PTA networks, our faith-based groups, in order to establish a connection not just with us, but with someone that they already have a rapport with, being the community members. And that way, we're hoping that people will hear about it. And because housing is so more directly tangible and more impactful than, say, zoning, which can be a bit more abstract about how it impacts residents, we're hopeful that we'll be able to galvanize the community members to come talk about their neighborhoods.
All right, so you're going to host one community forum in each district?
Yes, ma'am. And
Okay.
as a part of that, we're also inviting the super district commissioners to attend any of the ones in their district as well.
Okay, fantastic. All right. The next question I have is, and I'm not sure who to ask this question of, is on the housing priorities slide, slide 14. Looks like the top 4 are in green and the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are in blue.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the distinction there?
So, we really just wanted to focus on what some of those top priorities were. When we were in the housing working group, we did a polling exercise, followed by a pretty robust discussion around why people rank things these ways. But this is ultimately just the result of the polls. We wanted to bring attention to those top 4s while recognizing that all of these are priorities for the community.
Okay, thank you very much. And then lastly, and I'll wrap up because I know we have to get through this presentation and our agenda. Could you email me by Friday a list of the, I guess, categories and or stakeholder groups you're looking to reach out to help promote attendance? I just want to make sure that as a District 2 commissioner and as the Super District 6 commissioner, if his engagement in the District 2 event, our community meeting, that we do what we can do to promote and encourage attendance. So if you would just please, let's say by close of business this Friday, you know, send us who you're trying to attract, and we can do what how we can support on the back end.
Okay, I really appreciate that. Yeah, we'll definitely
Sure.
do that, Commissioner.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Terry.
Thank you. So on this slide, real quick, that's just an early insight. The community is going to weigh in, so these priorities might change.
Yes, that's correct. These are just
Okay.
findings from the public sector leaders who are in this meeting.
Okay. And then would you be able to share the Interagency Housing Council, like who all that was?
Yeah, I'll turn that to Dr. Ferguson.
Okay, well, you can just send it to me. I don't need to like get a whole thing on it. Just curious. On slide 16, you referenced lead-based paint, housing needing repairs, accessibility modifications, and then lead paint. I think that y'all should also consider the state of weatherization and insulation, because I think what we're kind of really getting at as one big part of this larger study is just affordability. And so when I look at this map and I see all these houses built before 1979, I'm thinking they don't have insulation, they don't have good caulking, they probably have an old HVAC, they probably have single pane windows. And so all that heat and cool in the winter and the summer is leaking out, and their energy bills are really high. And I know for a fact that we can save residents thousands of dollars a year on their energy bills just by doing some of the low-hanging fruit of energy efficiency and weatherization. So I would add that, keep that in mind, because I think that's going to also be an important part. And then I would like to suggest on slide 18, so what would help me out as a super commissioner is not that I'm invited to the meetings, because then it makes it seem like I'm just like, you know, a third wheel or a fifth wheel, what do you call it? And so it might be advantageous to have some co-branding. Zach, I know the CEO's done that with like the food distributions, right? Like we do them in all these locations, but we brand them with the district commissioners to just so when we send it out, it's like, oh yeah, come to on March 19th, District 1, and then because District 1 has 6 and 7 in it, just go ahead and include me and Ladina, in the marketing. So it's just very easy that it's like everyone's working together on the same date, and then that'll help us get the word out to our lists.
Okay. I actually appreciate you saying that. It'll be a lot easier to get people to show up since they'll see familiar faces. So thank you.
Yep, great, thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Terry. Please continue, either Madison or Vivian, please, go right ahead.
That was really our presentation there. We jumped into these last slides. You got ahead of us with the community meeting. So really appreciate y'all's excitement around these. Excited to partner with you and getting residents engaged in this process.
Fantastic. Commissioner Long-Spears.
Thank you very much, and I realize we did jump to the end of the presentation. I guess that helped move us along, right? The one thing I didn't see in this, and it's probably just not spelled out, and this may end up being more of a Dr. Ferguson question, is there an intention to talk about the different housing tools, such as a land bank or land trust, or is that not what you're considering part of the project?
100% yes.
Oh, good. Okay, I was
so as we
hoping
get
so.
into that planning strategy identification, that's where you'll see those show up.
Okay, so you're just going to educate citizens on what they are. I mean, last year when we were discussing the land trust and the land bank, it was just constantly interchangeably using those words, and it became confusing because they sound alike, And then we also had the Affordable Housing Trust, and I think we took the trust out and called it Affordable Housing Fund just because of all the confusion that was created. So I'm hoping, and I know that you'll do this when you guys do make the presentation and you are educating community members, is to just advise us and them, how each of those tools can positively impact current housing and the future of housing in DeKalb.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Commissioner Long-Spears. Thank you so much for all of the work that you're doing. Very excited and looking forward to continuing this trail of providing a great addition to housing in DeKalb County. So thank you both.
Great. Thank you for the
Thank
opportunity.
you. Dr. Ferguson?
All right, thank you. And thank you, commissioners, for the effort. Now, yeah, I got something.
Yes, related to the housing fund concept, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so while it's, I guess waiting to load, thank you, for this opportunity. So you just heard from, Enterprise Community Partners as well as Sycamore regarding the status of the comprehensive housing plan. And within that presentation and conversation, you heard them mention, tools, resources in order to, advance, the county's goals regarding, housing opportunities. So I'm here today, to give you a brief, overview of what we want to introduce as one of those tools to advance housing opportunity in DeKalb County, and that's the Housing Investment Bond. Earlier this morning in the Board of Commissioners meeting, you heard our Director of Budget, TJ, mention that they were seeking a millage increase to address a variety of different issues, including housing and the homeless. Well, being supported by those efforts is the housing investment bond that we're proposing. So last fall, the Board of Commissioners approved the establishment of the Affordable Housing Fund. We want to essentially add a shot of adrenaline, to that affordable housing fund by having dedicated funding out of the general fund to support affordable housing. And with that, really creates a funding structure for us that we can use to support a bond issuance. And so why do we want to do a bond issuance? Well, the Affordable Housing Fund provides us an avenue for recurring funding on an annual basis. But what we really need is an injection of capital, up front, so that we can, add capacity, add investment in the near term to our housing and housing opportunities. So if you could visualize it, yes, you look at. So if you can visualize it, what we intend to do with the funding and the proceeds, which we anticipate will be roughly about $155 million when it's all said and done, which also we believe represents the single largest investment in housing by a county, that we can find. We're still doing the research, for here in the state of Georgia, but we think it'll be, a significant investment, and it also sends a signal to the market and the region of how important that housing is, and housing is to DeKalb County, especially for the betterment and the welfare of our residents. So we intend to use those proceeds to, really create a number of different housing programs designed to add capital to the housing ecosystem, to provide resources to residents, to increase home ownership, as well as to preserve home ownership through owner-occupied rehab, as well as to provide dedicated resources towards addressing homelessness and the underhoused. So we've developed a menu of those different programs. We're actively working with our partner agencies and departments, our Department of Community Development, Decide DeKalb, our Land Bank Authority, as well as other departments in the county as we structure these programs. And our goal is to come back before PECS, where we'll then discuss kind of detailed parameters and guidelines around those programs and how we think they'll be effective and produce tremendous outcomes here in DeKalb County. So when the body, the Board of Commissioners approves the budget, that gives us the green light to move forward with this funding plan. And if successful, we believe that we'll be able to create and preserve over 10,000 units in DeKalb County using these resources. And it'll really generate, which is the magic of leverage in real estate, over $1 billion in investment. So it'll create a significant impact here in the county towards our housing efforts. So we really appreciate your support on this effort. I know I've had one-on-one briefings with several commissioners. I have some also scheduled tomorrow, and I'll be able to answer questions in detail. But if you have any preliminary questions at this point in time, I'm glad I can remember so much of this from memory. At this point in time, I'm more than happy any questions that you may have.
I personally don't have any. I had an opportunity to sit down and ask all the questions, hammer out all the details that I needed to know at this time. And with that, I'm going to allow an opportunity to my colleagues to ask questions that they might have. Commissioner Terry.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I also did have a chance to get the briefing, so no questions at this time, but I do support the effort, and I will second your thought about the power of leverage. 100%. There's a lot of developers that are in the housing space, affordable housing space, that when the public subsidy comes in, we can make projects happen that otherwise wouldn't have happened. And that means more rooftops, that means more economic development, it means more job opportunities as businesses see that there's more people, more rooftops in these areas, which will only, rise the tide of what we're trying to do for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And actually, we are the slides are up, and yeah, if anyone that wants to, take a look at them, Dr. Ferguson, just more for your FYI that they are there. And then presuming, because we're presenting them, then our confidential not-for-public distribution component is then waived. So, Commissioner Long-Spears?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Awesome presentation. It was sent yesterday, and I really haven't had a chance to digest it, but I will try to do so before our meeting tomorrow. I will just give you a little bit of a heads up, though. I will have probably quite a few questions about the revised funding execution of $15 million annually dedicated to housing. If we could talk about just, the rationale behind doing that versus the percentage-based allocation. And I'm not for or against that. I just think right now I'd like to understand it a little bit more.
Sure, absolutely. So when you look at how the Affordable Housing Fund was originally structured, there was a step up in terms of a percentage base of allocation, starting at 1%, then going to 1.5%, and then starting in year 3 at 2% thereafter. However, because the Affordable Housing Fund was funded under a resolution structure, that allows for, let's just say, kind of, flexibility, if you will, in terms of budget allocations. And so in some years it could be that 2%, in some years it may be generous, it could be more than 2%, and then in other years it may be far less, than 2%. So in asking for this to be included as a budget item, where it will be allocated each and every year, and the number $15 million roughly equates to where we would be roughly in year 3 in terms of funding. It provides that certainty of funding that we need in order to make sure that there's financial support to issue a bond. And the reason why, the logic behind $15 million is not just because it's a number that we would eventually reach 3 years ago, but also in terms of the bond debt service, or anticipated bond debt service, is roughly to be about $10 million annually. That still leaves us $5 million on an annual basis for different projects and initiatives that come up on an ad hoc basis. And I can tell you with certainty, they do come up. CEO Williams and I, as well as several of our colleagues, were on a call this morning talking about a new initiative that we desperately need, here in the county to serve, homelessness. And one of the questions is going to be, how are we going to fund, this initiative? So that would allow us a flexible pool of capital that we can devote towards those initiatives, those, typical programs or projects that come up on an ad hoc basis annually.
All right, thank you for that explanation. So just a couple clarification questions. The $15 million that you're proposing annually dedicated to housing would be from the general fund?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay, thank you. And then second question, for the eligibility and requirements for the Affordable Housing Fund, are you modeling it on City of Atlanta? Because when Andy and I were working, I'm the sponsor of that legislation, I think in partnership with Commissioner Terry, we looked at Atlanta, City of Atlantis, and I understand from Andy that you have a great deal of knowledge on that.
Yeah, I know a little bit.
And then I did speak to Councilmember Matt Westmoreland, who gave us some ideas about changing some of the elements of when we adopted ours, which we did, yay.
Yes.
But just, I guess, some of his learnings and lived experience with dealing with the City of Atlanta's housing fund. I think they're calling it the Housing Trust Fund.
Yes.
But are you modeling it on that now that you've kind of taken the charge on this? Is there another jurisdiction that you're looking at, or are we just coming up with this based on your expertise?
Yeah, so we're kind of modeling the framework, based upon that. But right now, even as I speak, I have respective departments working on developing those guidelines, and the intent is for us to come back to PECS committee to socialize those guidelines. But we're going to come back to PECS committee after we've had a series of work sessions with different stakeholders, whether they're developers or investors, or residents, and we socialize those proposed guidelines and parameters with them as well to get that feedback, incorporate that feedback into what we produce, and then come back to PECS committee with a recommendation on what those guidelines are. So there'll be, ample opportunity between now and then for us to, engage and have dialogue around what's appropriate, for DeKalb County. And in some cases, it's going to shift our thinking a little bit. But we think at the end of the day, we'll end up with some tools that will be really strong in terms of, creating affordable and workforce housing and preserving it in DeKalb County.
Wonderful. All right, well, I'll hold the remainder of my questions until tomorrow. Thank you. Yield back.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Long-Spears. I appreciate that. And looking forward to, again, the rest of my colleagues being able to have discussions, the additional questions that may come about, and you have an opportunity, Dr. Ferguson, to come into PECS and present for the benefit of everyone to be able to hear just exciting things that are going on and to answer any questions. So thank you for all your work. We know that you've had to get up to speed from 0 to 120 in a very short period of time. And came in on, a little bit of contentiousness in trying to address this huge challenge, which is your level of, in your area of expertise. So thank you again. And with that, there are no further questions.
Right,
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, sir. I want to circle back, committee members, if we could, to our appointments. And we have appointment and agenda item ending in 0246, and that's all commission districts to appoint Ms. Tricia Weaver to post 3.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. With the proper first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's been approved. And if we could go ahead and jump in just a couple more things in our agenda so that we can then be able to be respectful of our guest time that has another presentation. But we have agenda item ending in 1706, all commission districts, change order number 3 to contract number 1363096, cooperative agreement for public sector and education software solutions with related services, Sourcewell contract number 090320KZON for the use by Department of Planning, Sustainability, and Geographic Information Systems. This contract consists of back file scanning and documentation digitization services. This request seeks to ratify previously provided contract extension and increase the contract funds of the term through December 31st of this year, 2026, awarded to Kanaka Minolta Business Solutions USA, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $125,000. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Stacy, for being
Good
here with us
afternoon,
today. Great
Commissioner.
afternoon.
Yes, for the GIS department, we just simply want to extend the contract to the end of the year, basically, with no funds attached to that extension.
Thank you so much, just so they can do the work, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. With that, I open the floor up for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Proper first and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is agenda under community development. Agenda item ending in 1820, all commission districts, local government agreement for the DeKalb Regional Land Bank Authority. Thank you. And we have a presentation, and Director Mitchell, thank you so much. Take it away.
Good afternoon. I've got about 2 slides. I'll be very brief. I'm representing the DeKalb Regional Land Bank. The objective here is that the land banks and the government agreement with the City of Lithonia and also the county expired on 12/31 of last year. And we've been unable to get in front of you to be able to request an extension of that. The proposal is, in essence, to increase the agreement out an additional 45 years. The original contract was put in place in 2020, and it expired after 5 years, but the law allows you to go to 50 years. This proposal is to, in essence, add 45 more years to the agreement, and in the year 2070. And I know most of us will be here then. So, but that's the proposal. So I'd like for you to approve the land bank's ability to extend its perpetuity out to 50 years.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell. Commissioner Terry?
Thank you. Are we okay with approving a 45-year contract? That's a long time.
It's a long time. The state law allows us to do that. And the
I know,
provisions.
but practically though, does it make sense to have a 45-year contract with one city? Shouldn't we just see how it goes?
Well, the
Or maybe
agreement is
5
to
or 10
have a
years?
land bank. The idea is that land banks can only exist with a partner, as a city. If you don't have a city associated with the land bank, you have to cease and desist.
Okay.
Before that, if you recall, Decatur withdrew. We didn't have a land bank
Okay.
for quite some time. So the essence of having the land bank exists starts with that.
No, I understand.
The partners
You need
can
the
be
city.
added. You can actually add more cities in the future, but the agreement with them.
Okay, so really, Lithonia is just our check mark to say that we can exist as a land bank because you have to have a city.
Yes, it's our
And-
dancing
and
partner. If you don't have you can't dance.
You can have
unless
a
you
dancing partner, that's fair. And you can add more cities. Okay, all right. If the law department's okay with a 45-year contract, I guess the only question would be if a future city leader decided, we don't like the land bank, go kick rocks. Does this agreement allow us to change the city
It allows you to change
within
the
that
city.
45-year period?
The provisions go like this. If land bank is in existence and you want to add 3 cities, the board does not have to approve on that. The land bank has authority to add cities. It's part of the contract. It's one of the last exhibits in the contract. It allows you to add cities with the voting agreement with the board chair within the land bank.
Okay.
So as cities come on board, you don't have to come back to the board to get permission. But
Okay.
if the land bank doesn't exist,
Right.
then you have to come back to the board.
I
In
understand.
essence, why we're here today.
Do other cities want to join, do you think? Do other cities want to join, do you think?
My judgment, yes. I think Clarkson has chatted new administration. They'd like to join.
Okay.
There are others that will have to join. And Tamika's going to get out with her board to pursue
Okay.
presentations to get them to join.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Terry. Thank you. With that, we have exhausted any questions. Open up for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and thank you so much for being here.
There's a second presentation.
All righty. Ready when you are?
This is an agenda item which we would like to get your permission to, in essence, purchase 2 vehicles.
All right. Give me one quick second. Let me go ahead and read out the agenda item, and that's 2026-0228, all commission districts purchase of 2 vehicles for the Community Development Department. Right ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner. The punchline here is that it's no cost to the county. The funds to buy these 2 vehicles are being paid with federal funds. So that's the punchline. We'd like to have you authorize us to be able to buy 2 vehicles, and the rationale is going to come in the next slide. And they don't exceed in excess of $90,000, just $89,000. They're actually 2. We need vehicles to supplement what we currently have. We have 2 vans and 1 GMC today, but we need more vehicles to accommodate several things. 1, demolitions. There's a need to travel to do demolitions. We travel remotely throughout the whole county to execute demolitions. There's a lot of back and forth for general contractors, site reviews, notice to proceed. It's quite extensive with demolitions. We also have to do environmental reviews. Every transaction, everyone that's placed in any dwellings, there's a lot that goes on with environmental reviews. So my analyst has to drive around and take photographs per HUD regulations to ensure that we capture everything for environmental reviews. It's something we do that most people don't understand or see, but it's a lot of massive paperwork and photographs that have to be taken. So they have to travel around the entire 270 square miles within DeKalb County. Also, special purpose housing repair. We have individuals that repair homes. Our precious seniors have homes that are in atrophy. We have an old housing stock. So we have to get out and deal with contractors to be able to facilitate that. Last point is that we go to the cities. We have 12 cities we visit with our cooperative agreement. I was at Stonecrest yesterday. Now, I don't drive these vehicles, just to let you know. I don't have access to drive these and all that. So, but these are for the employees within the county. But we do have employees that have to go to cities to take on administrative contracts. Also, key point, homeless individuals. We have street outreach, which we know and love, and they have to get access to assess individuals that are unhoused, subsequently make determinations and take them to shelters. We have Frontliners to shelter, but we also have 6 other shelters that we tend to forget about, and they all are in the city of Atlanta, which means that people we pick up, we have to transport. We also have to administer TB tests, which is kind of interesting, but they have to be administered before they're admitted to a shelter.
Yeah.
So those are some of the justifications of why we need additional vehicles. The
Yeah.
2 are displayed here. One's an Equinox, which is about 30,000. The other is a Tahoe, which is about 60,000. And that's our request. We'd like for you to approve that.
Thank you so much. Appreciate and understand the need for vehicles, particularly as the last presentation we saw, or not the last, I guess the one before the last now, at this point in terms of some of the older homes and where those were particularly located. And over the 500 and somewhat miles that we have here in DeKalb County, understand and get that. So appreciate you for your presentation and your hard work and service. With that, Commissioner Terry, I believe you had a question first.
Yes, and I see that the source is the HUD grant CDBG-CV.
That's correct.
What's the CV?
It's a COVID reference. All of the grants that came from HUD that were.
Okay, so this is like leftover funds that
Absolutely.
are just getting, okay,
Yes.
gotcha,
Yes.
okay. Did Director Gordon recommend these vehicles?
Yes, he did. One of the other factors is that your permission allows us for the agenda item to be added to the fleet. So I'll buy something, but you need to grant permission to be added to the fleet, which means you get a fob, you got gas, various things, repairs. So he's in agreement with this, and he recommended these vehicles. We met with him, and all the documentation actually goes back to fleet.
And he didn't recommend electric vehicles?
No, we didn't get. We got recommendations for those 2. We preferred to get a Tahoe, and a Tahoe does not come in electric form that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But these were suggestions.
You want a Tahoe for transporting individuals?
It supplements the plan. We have 2 vans that transport homeless individuals. We also needed a larger SUV to transport individuals as well. So the Tahoe would go with the street outreach guys. The Equinox would go with the staff, those individuals that do the staff work, the professionals that run.
So they don't have any 6-passenger vehicle that's electric available?
We didn't request electric because of the cost.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, like, trying to save the environment here, Director Mitchell, you know? And by the way, the electric vehicles have a lower total cost of ownership, so it actually would save us money if we went electric, because there's less maintenance on it.
I'll also say that it's a little harder when I did my own search before I bought my vehicle to find larger vehicles that have the capacity for a charge to be able to do the amount of traveling that I could surmise you guys.
No, I think they're like 300-mile ranges
Have
now.
to.
I mean, how many miles a day are they traveling?
I could guesstimate. I don't know the exact number. But
It's not 200 miles a day,
Right.
though.
They're all over.
But is it over 200 miles a day?
It's a pretty lot. So
Sometimes.
yeah, and I can imagine with that.
Not every day, but sometimes.
I could imagine getting up in the morning and having to travel wherever and meet the needs. Any other questions related to that and vehicle choice, Commissioner Terry? I'm only going to respectfully ask that we take that, offline and send an email so we can go ahead and get through the rest of the
But the
agenda.
Equinox, though, they definitely have a version of the Equinox that's an electric vehicle.
Okay, I can look at that.
Again, so anything else in terms of vehicle choice, I'm going to ask, particularly if it's gas or electric, we take that offline. With that, thank you again, Director, for being here and for your acts, for your questions. Having exhausted any particular questions as it related to the item itself, not necessarily which type of vehicle, I will entertain a motion. And Commissioner Longspears did have a similar question as Commissioner Terry, but that was answered with Commissioner Terry. So she did have opportunity to answer that question. So thank you for your response, because you addressed her question as well. With that, I open up the floor for motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you so much.
Any
Thank
opposed?
you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank
Any
you.
opposed?
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Commissioner Terry. I want to make sure you get your voices heard and recorded as well, sincerely. I want to be able to provide an opportunity as well for the agenda item, which is presently the last, but is, you know what, let us get through a little bit more of this if we don't mind. We have agenda item, he's here? Okay, let's get through just one or two others, and then we'll go ahead and jump in. We have agenda item 0120, presented by the CEO, Commission Districts 1 and 7, intergovernmental agreement with the City of Tucker for pedestrian trail easement, public parking improvements, and maintenance responsibilities. Is there anyone here to speak on that? Thank you, Interim County Attorney Phillips.
Sure. Madam Chair, this is an item that goes with the fire station that's being built there. There's a park, I understand, right next to it. The easement granted by the county to the city will facilitate a trail that will go right next to the fire station, and the parking lot will facilitate some additional parking, so the public who's going to the park, not necessarily to the fire station, will be able to go. And it's a partnership with the City of Tucker. We will work out maintenance, and we're working out the fine details to get that contract completed as we speak.
Thank you so much. Do you have any questions, Commissioner Terry? Okay. All right, seeing none, open up the floor.
Motion to approve item 0120.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much. The next is from Parks and Rec. That's agenda item ending in 0231. Commission Districts 5 and 7 to approve a tree trim easement between DeKalb County and Georgia Power for easement at 1116 Rock Chapel Road. That's in Lithonia, Georgia, 30002. Parcel ID number you can read, for the amount of $12,396. And great afternoon.
Yes, and before Mr. Bass speaks, I'd like to introduce our new Parks and Recreation Director, Christopher Bass. He's been here all of 24 hours, so I think he's on top of all of the issues. But no, Mr. Bass comes to us from, is it Douglasville? Douglasville. Did an outstanding job in their parks program there, and we're glad to have him on our team. Yes, sir. Thank you.
And just very briefly, though, if we could have Paige, if you don't mind, if you can come up to the podium. Because I, for one, and particularly being the PECS chair, want to tell you that I sincerely appreciate all of the work and everything that you've been doing. Being interim isn't always easy, and you know, when we had that vacancy, no ball got dropped. You continue to roll with it and do what you had to do to make sure that our Parks and Rec department in DeKalb County, everything was well met, and all of the needs of our constituents. So thank you for that, sincerely.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Good evening, Madam Chair. So really quick, this item is to approve a tree trim easement between DeKalb County and Georgia Power for tree trimming and clearing at Rock Chapel Park. And in this, the county will receive $12,936 for this easement.
Thank you so much. And we also are joined by Commissioner Robert Patrick from District 1. Thank you so much for joining the committee. All right. And so is there anything else you'd like to speak to that about it, or that's it?
That's it. Yes,
all right. Thank you so much. Commissioner Terry?
Okay, and then I see the 12,936 is going to go to the, is there like a Rock Chapel Park, like CIP fund or something?
Yeah.
For improvements?
That's correct. So the 12,000 amount will go into an award that can be spent for improvements at the park. Correct.
Okay. Okay. Very good. All right. No further questions.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Terry. With that, I'm willing to entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much. Thank you again. The next agenda item ends in 0165. That's again Human Services. That is all commission districts. Change order number 3, contract number 1294379, and change order number 1 to contract number 2000353 in-home services for older adults, persons with disabilities, and their caregivers for the use by the Department of Human Services. This contract consists of the provision of the in-home services, homemaker, personal care, and in-home respite for the non-medical home and community-based services, HCBS, to older adults and persons with disabilities who reside in DeKalb County. This request seeks to increase the contract funds for CPA 1294379, and that is for PECS Healthcare Services, Inc., to allow for the progressing of outstanding October and November invoices. This request also seeks to ratify purchase order number 5056985 and increase contract funds and term to to June 30th, 2027 for CPA 200053 Coastal Home Care LLC, DBA Help at Home, awarded to Remkins Healthcare Services, Inc., and to Coastal Home Care LLC, DBA Help Home. Total amount not to exceed $1,237,000 even. And I appreciate, thank you so much, Director Scott, for being here.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the PECS Committee. In last November, the board approved the original change order, and so what this is seeking to do is for a purchase in action for us to be able to pay the last two invoices for the last vendor, and then to extend the contract with the current provider, have funds added so we can pay them through June of 2027 underneath the existing contract within our existing budget.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, and that's June 30th, 2027. And just offhand, can you share when the original contract was supposed to end? Do we have that offhand?
The original contract was not to exceed $1,200,000.
All right, fantastic.
Yes.
So
and
we're
then
not.
the last invoices, the last two are $37,000 for October and November of 2025.
Fantastic, and that was my point, that,
Yes.
we're only a slight hike, and I appreciate you sharing that. Commissioner Chair, do you have any questions?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just to understand the sort of the handoff for Help at Home taking over, are they just literally taking over the old contract, or are there any new changes
Yes.
to it?
They're taking over the same exact contract.
Okay.
That's what the board approved in November 2025.
Gotcha, okay.
REMKIX no longer is providing that service. They no
Okay.
longer are
They
doing it.
elected to terminate their contract due to
Yes.
personal reasons, is what it says here in the change order request form. And then, so the number of seniors being served by this contract is going to remain the same?
105.
105, okay. So everything is basically the same?
Yes.
There's no changes?
No changes.
There's no reduction in services?
No, no, sir.
They're just doing it for the same cost of doing business?
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, and then remind me again, what's the, so I think I asked this for REMKIS, but what's the minimum wage or the average wage for the CNAs with Help at Home?
That's something that we'll have to go back and check. I don't really know their hourly wage offhand. I know that's something that you raised, and it's something we looked at, but it's underneath the contract terms, whatever they agreed to pay their employees. Not, as you know, they're subcontractors, and they're not county employees.
Right, understand. Well, I really would like to see individuals that are taking care of seniors be paid a living wage. So I have no problem approving this, but would like to have that minimum wage or average wage, because I imagine there are some more senior nursing assistants that might get paid a little more. But just if you could help us understand what the baseline pay is under this contract.
Yes, sir.
Before we vote on it at the full board meeting.
Thank you so much. Oh, sorry.
That's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Commissioner Terry. And if need be, we'll put it on Commissioner Terry's bill if we need to have a bit of an increase there. We'll let him take that. Commissioner Patrick, do you have any questions? Thank you so much. Seeing none, I open the floor for a motion.
All right, yes, motion to approve item 0165 with that requested information. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. And we are close to our last agenda item, and that is agenda item ending in 0178, all commission districts, acceptance of FTA funds, 5310 funds from the Atlanta Regional Commission in the amount of $73,093.58 for transportation at no cost, at the cost of the county, of $18,273.40.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is an annual item. Each year, Human Services requests funding and applies for a grant from the Federal Transportation Authority for funds through the Atlanta Regional Commission for transportation services for those seniors age 60 and above that do not have access to modern mobility or ADA paratransit. So this grant that we were awarded, as I said, the annual item for this year would be $73,093.58 with a required match of $18,273.40. That match is already in our existing budget, so there's no fiscal impact to DeKalb County.
Thank you so much. You're on it, Director Scott. I appreciate it. Do you have any questions, Commissioner Terry?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just the, in regards to the transportation app, DeKalb Aging Database, some of these funds will be used to enhance the app
Yes.
for new routing and scheduling for providers. So do we have another vendor that is upgrading the app?
It's actually in-house.
It's in-house?
Yeah. and
Okay,
that-
so IT's working on it?
By IT, we have a staff person, and he actually won the 2025 Innovation Award for DeKalb County, Mr. Jimmy Brooks.
Okay.
So it's an in-house app that was developed.
Oh,
to
he
help
created
us
the
in-
app.
we created
He won the
app.
award for this app?
Yeah.
Hey, all right. A NACO award? You got a NACO award?
Got the Innovation Award for
All right.
2025.
Okay, great. Okay, so some of the funds will be for enhancing the app, so there'll just be some additional external costs
The
potentially?
Atlanta Regional Commission is aware, and that was they provided the initial funding for that service, and it's something that we use to help our seniors get from point A to point B.
Okay. And would you mind, before we vote on it, I mean, this is great. I appreciate you bringing it forward, and obviously we want to support it. So would you mind just giving us some stats on how many, trips
Yes, sir.
are sort of taken annually?
This will provide services to 200 seniors, and we project 3,046 trips for this fiscal year.
Okay, so 200 seniors that qualify, or that just
That
like?
qualify.
That qualify.
That qualify
Okay, that's
for the
because they're
service.
like in the MARTA mobility, ADA paratransit sort of system, but they might
This
not.
is just our trips. We will refer out for modern mobility and ADA transportation.
Okay, but in terms of the 200 that qualify, or do they qualify because they are qualified for MARTA mobility?
They would qualify for our human services transportation services.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what this
And how do
funding
they?
is for.
What was so? Only 200 qualify?
Well, 200 that request the service, and they'll get through our system, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So 200
And
have
then
been using the system.
200, right. As
Okay.
funding allows, if there's a lot more funding, then a lot more seniors can be served underneath the dollar amount.
Oh, well, look who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Well, if you could just share with us, if there's a wait list, or just help us understand the demand, because I don't know if 200 is a good amount. Maybe that's enough. Maybe there's other seniors who would like to use it but don't know about it.
But
So-
we assess everybody that requests the service,
Okay.
and then based on the eligibility and their criteria, like I said, they will either be referred out. Some are eligible for Medicaid transportation, but typically, and this is what we've been averaging, about 200 of seniors that qualify for our services. And as I stand here, I'm not aware of a wait list
Okay.
of that magnitude where we don't have seniors that have access to transportation.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, would love for y'all to share the DeKalb Aging Database, DAD.
Yep.
Who came up with that? Robert did. Just so we can help spread the word.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Terry. And I'll just briefly say to that point, I was picking up tacos at Magic Taco and ran into one of our employees that was driving the mobility van, and they shared that, there is a need and constantly full, and for drivers and for vehicles, so that may be something that we can, touch bases about online, just to make sure you have what you need to continue the great work. And so thank you for all of the work that you're doing. Commissioner Patrick, do you have any questions or comments? Thank you so much. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you so much. And I also want to just give a shout out to our CIO, Mr. Shelton. Congratulations. That didn't skirt too far underneath for us to, recognize the work that you're doing. So thank you so much for that. Just wanted to give you kudos. The last agenda item, last but not least, is Board of Commissioners Super District 6. Commissioner Terry, thank you so much for putting it forth. That's agenda item 0104, commission Districts 6 and District 4 to allocate $200,000 from the CIP fund to Georgia State University. Go Panthers, for the remaining the Stone Mountain Trail as a cultural corridor project for artistic crosswalks and path markings. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry.
We have Professor Fernando Robichaud from Georgia State, and then
Robichaud?
and then I probably got that wrong actually, and then Director Singer might have some additional context too.
Well, I'll just say thank you, GSU Panthers, for being here. That's, you know, there you go. Is your microphone on so we can hear you? Right.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. And go right ahead.
My name is Fernando Roche.
Oh, Mike's, there it is. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm an associate professor of art history at Georgia State University Perimeter College, and I'm a proud Clarkston and DeKalb resident. Thank you for the time to present Connecting Communities, Reimagining Stone Mountain Trail as a Cultural Corridor. Together, these project materials outline design work to transform a 5-mile stretch of Stone Mountain Bicycle Trail from Avondale Estates MARTA Station through Clarkston into a vibrant public art destination. I'd like to bring your attention to the map on the screen. Located in pop-ups are a couple of the art projects my students at Perimeter and I have worked on for the past couple of years, and this whole trail is the segment that we're going to work on. At its core, this project does 3 things. It recognizes the Stone Mountain Trail as a critical transportation infrastructure. The project reframes it as a shared cultural space, and it will use participatory design to ensure that residents, businesses, and other key stakeholders become true shepherds of the work. Instead of simply hiring professional muralists to impose a vision, we empower the community to serve as co-designers. We are building a process that invites trail users and neighbors to co-author the trail's visual narrative. The plan focuses on designing artistic crosswalks, path markings, and related trail graphics at key locations, 15 major intersections, 10 small restriping areas, trail entrances and parking lots, and 2 pedestrian byways. The crosswalks will be deliberately scaled to create a continuous visual language along the trail, legible to pedestrians, cyclists, drivers, and visitors. Once the designs are complete, professional vendors specializing in thermoplastic applications and traffic markings will handle the installation, ensuring that the artwork meets all safety and durability standards. The vision is ambitious, but we're here to transform an under-recognized stretch of bicycle trail into a landmark cultural asset that celebrates local heritage, enhances safety, and strengthens community bonds. Research from Bloomberg Philanthropies reports that well-designed artistic crosswalks can reduce pedestrian crashes by 50% and increase trail use by 30% when paired with strong community programming and clear wayfinding. These designs will be more than visually interesting. It's a proven strategy to slow down vehicles at high traffic intersections, increase driver awareness, and make walking and biking feel safer and more inviting. All of this unfolds across a carefully phased 6-month timeline. In the early discovery phase, we will form an advisory group, launch a website, social media presence, and host kickoff events across the 3 municipalities. The next phase centers on design development, participatory design workshops, community art walks, and a creation of digital models and renderings. A third phase deepens and refines the work through Meet My Designer events and public art education series. The final phase consolidates community feedback and finalizes designs and prepares detailed documentation for future installation. Equity and participation lie at the heart of our methodology. The Georgia State design team will not only act as distant experts, but as partners and facilitators in a participatory design process. Through surveys, listening sessions, and hands-on workshops in Avondale Estate, Scottsdale, and Clarkston, stakeholders from business owners, students to elders, faith community leaders, and recent immigrants will be engaged as co-designers. The team will develop toolkits, templates, and manuals with community members to make the research and design work itself a tangible benefit rather than just a means to an end. In practice, this requires a multi-participatory design workshops for four major intersections, each bringing together residents, county workers, local businesses, and students. Workshop participants will generate imagery, stories, patterns that reflect their lived experiences, which the design team will translate into multiple iterations of each crosswalk mural. Community members will help review prototypes through in-person sessions, rank voting, sentiment analysis, and online feedback so that the final designs generally reflect local values and narratives. The project is designed so that people who use the trail and those who have historically been excluded from planning conversations can see themselves in the work and have multiple ways to contribute. Senior personnel staff include me, project director, who will lead an effort and coordinate stakeholders and oversee the design quality, a part-time assistant director who will guide the design team and manage production after workshops. 6 undergraduate students will receive stipends to support outreach, workshop facilitation, data analysis, and prototype design, ensuring emerging creatives gain meaningful paid experience and community-engaged art practices. Additional funds cover workshop materials, community event supplies, brand development, translation services, and media support, all aligned with the goal of equitable, multilingual, and sustained engagement. Taken together, connecting communities describes more than a public art project. I've outlined a comprehensive model for creative placemaking in DeKalb County that could ultimately complement the county's trail master plan. By coupling evidence-based safety improvements with deep, inclusive community engagement and design practices, the Stone Mountain Trail Corridor has the potential to become a living gallery, a safer mobility route, and a teaching lab for students, and a shared civic asset that reflects the communities it connects. Community members will know, and community members today, this is more than just an art project. It's an infrastructure improvement that prioritizes identity and safety and community ownership. By the project's end, we will have co-designed a technically rigorous roadmap to turn the trail into a world-class cultural asset. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Terry.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate Fernando for presenting on this. This was a funding item that we approved in last year's budget, but as many of y'all know, it takes a minute to go through the procurement process and get all the paperwork and then work with Georgia State. So appreciate that y'all worked a lot last year to get all of these ducks in a row and get all the paperwork done. And so, Madam Chair, what we're doing today is approving the contract, basically. And I am really excited about this. 2 things I just will reflect on what Fernando talked about is one, the safety. I think that's really, really important. I can personally attest that I have seen bicyclists and pedestrians be hit and almost be hit along the length of the Stone Mountain Trail because I do run that often. I have biked it before. And unfortunately, because the Stone Mountain Trail is like the original trail, a lot of the road crossings, crosswalks have basically have disappeared, or they're not at grade, and so there'll be like some smoothing for safety, some.
There's various locations that don't have any markings at all.
And no markings at all.
Just share the road, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully this is kind of a dual purpose. One, bring some art and culture to an amazing amenity for tens of thousands of residents in this area, but also improve the pedestrian safety. So we're excited about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Terry. Commissioner Patrick?
I'll say I like the concept and observe that it's in a different district. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Patrick. And I'll tell you the potential of reduction of vehicle speeds is very attractive. Ongoing, I hear constituents complain about the speeds of vehicles in and around certain communities, and that seems like a sort of low-cost way to address it. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here with us today. Very sincerely appreciate your time. With that, I'll open up the floor for a motion.
Thank you. Motion to approve item 0104.
A second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it again. My appreciation for all you all staying, behind this late. My apologies that we did get started late, but I'm appreciative of the fact that we got through another agenda. So, Shannon and commissioners and Mrs. Atwaters, we got through another agenda. Thank you for being here at our PECS meeting. Thank you.
Take a 4-minute break.
All right. 4 minutes. And so the chair, Commissioner Terry of FAB, will commence in 4 minutes, and that will put you at about 5:35.
All right, motion to adjourn.
There you go. And second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.